Kumusta and congratulations, you've made it. You have just tuned in to the dopest podcast in the universe. Behind This Beat is a show where we take flight and connect with Filipino creatives locally and abroad, representing the land of 1,000 islands, the Philippines. Let's get this show started and give it up for our host, Phat Boy, Lim and Boy Graduate. This is Behind This Beat.
It's like that was so that was so unprofessional. You're muted. You're all muted, man. Hey, kumusta, guys? How are you? How have you been? It's all it's Friday once again, and you know what that means. It usually happens at this time, afternoon. It's the dopest show in the world, in the galaxy. Like voted number one on the Spotify podcast. We wish. But yeah, this is Behind This Beat, and you're of course your host with the mostest, Boy Graduate and Phat Boy Lim.
Yes.
So kumusta, guys? It's our 15th. My God, it's been a while, right? 16th episode. And it's also December 4 right now, Friday 2020. This is the live version of the show. And of course, if you want to know more about the show, you can always check out www.beatthisph.com, or you can also go to our social media at beatthisph. And then we usually have the podcast version out once this live version is done. But we'll update you when that's going to come out. We're trying to nitpick the right editing for it so that you're gonna, because sometimes we kind of make a lot of mistakes here on the show, but on the podcast version, it's quite tight. Okay. So anyways, a lot of things have been popping out in the sort of the Filipino global music scene now. Like, of course, this show we dedicate ourselves to really showcase and deliver to you guys, what is the Filipino global or what is Filipino future music. So this is sort of like the modern sound and all these things that are happening right now. Great talent that is out there, both locally and globally. So we had a really great discussion last week with our guest last week. And it was probably one for the books, I guess. We had Fonzie, which for me, because your internet was I hope your internet now looks stable, man. Yeah, so just remember that we're gonna be having our Fresh Fridays also on Spotify today. Later at 6 p.m. we're gonna be updating that. So every week we have this playlist on Spotify called Fresh Fridays, where we put in the newest current release, the newest drop. And you know how it's so there's just too much content out there. So instead of you guys researching and trying to listen to it all, it's going to be our job to just let you know what's out there that is a quality content, from the Filipinos, not only here but abroad. So yeah, I'm kind of excited for this show, man, because we have probably one of the, I guess, one of the that I was looking for the word, man. But yeah, a lot of portfolio, a lot of really great music background on this one. And I'm even I have a lot of questions to ask, because it's really especially me now, I'm kind of in the music industry. I would love to know more and pick this guy's knowledge on what he does and why he's successful at what he does. So
and I think this guy is really important in terms of bringing the forefront of Filipino global music as well, and what he could do for what we're working towards also. So this guy's got credits with Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, BTS. Do I have to say any more?
Yeah. So you do the honors, man. Introduce our guest for today.
Yes, for the 16th episode on Behind This Beat, let's welcome August Rigo, Canadian producer, artist, and singer-songwriter. Here he is.
Yay.
What's good, my bro?
Wait. It's on the
What's
mic
up?
is yeah, there you go.
How you doing?
Cool.
I'm good, guys. How's everything going over there?
Yeah.
Good over here, brother. Good
How's
here.
how's Canada in this challenging times?
It's not bad. I mean, I'm about 30 minutes away from the city, so they're going into like a stricter lockdown. For me, it's just like I can't go anywhere, but the mall's open. Like, I can get some food, and
Yeah,
it's it, it's
necessity
mostly
stuff.
mostly here in this house though. Mostly just here. I
Was
haven't
that you before COVID though, as well? Most
Yeah,
producers
this was
don't
this
even feel the
this
difference.
studio has been here, like this was part of like this. I've lived in this house for like 20 years. So like
Wow.
this studio, I think me and my dad built this in like 2007. So like just before I started, like really, like it was at a time where I was like, yo, I quit my job, and I was like, I'm fully focused in on music and like trying to make it, so to speak. So this was supposed to be like a basement apartment, and my dad was gonna rent it out,
Wow.
and I was just
That's
like,
crazy.
let's just turn that into the studio. So yeah, this
Yeah.
has always been here. So I like, even when I live in LA or New York, I spend like usually 6 months in the States and 6 months here, like all together. So I always have a place that I can work at. So there's never any downtime.
Must be nice to
Awesome.
come home to it.
Yeah, it's nice, and this has been like our saving grace right now because um we don't have to go anywhere to create. My wife is also a singer, songwriter, artist as well, so this is kind of like our hub. So we get to experiment, put out records, see what sticks. Like we're just going through the motions here, and it's a nice little it's a nice break from like the travel that I usually have to handle. Like I'm usually taking you know at least once a year I'm in Korea and Japan, and then I'm going from LA to New York, Miami, doing that circle of writing and meetings or whatever it is. So it's like I haven't been this static in a decade, I think, like just here all at
Wow.
Yeah,
once.
man,
So
we can imagine.
yeah. But it's been good. It's been good. I've been able to write some great songs and still continue like working remotely with people. So it's a bit of a blessing also because I get to spend a lot of time with my daughter, which is like I definitely wouldn't have this time like,
Yeah.
during a regular
Yeah.
period.
That's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, like like maybe just I mean, I'm sure like when we look at your catalog, it's just like just you've been doing this since 2016, and I think maybe even further, right? For sure, but
Yeah, I mean, the first like I guess radio single I wrote that got released was for Ayaz, a song called Solo. And then after that, and that was like 2010. And then after that, I ended up doing the Bieber and One Direction. And then like, just like, I guess like a catalog of pop songs for a lot of writers. So yeah, that was like 2000. That started all in 2010. So it's almost been like a decade of songwriting. I have a couple of good ones there. I'm still like, still feel like there's more to be done on the songwriting side. I mean, there's always more to be done, but I'm happy with the quality of the records that I've been able to place in the last few years. So
That's cool. Congratulations on all of
thanks,
that, by the
man.
way.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
wild.
thank you.
yeah. But regarding that, like, was it always be like when you started out? What was the first thing that happened to you? More of like the producer side, the songwriter side, or the
So
artist?
this is the loaded question. So when I'd never cared to be a songwriter or producer for anybody but myself originally. I'd write songs and produce songs for whatever, like, if somebody wanted to, but my main interest in the music was to be an artist. So I want to say it was around 2003, 2004. Um, I was always doing the artist thing, mind you. Like I had a singing group in high school, and then, I was still doing music, while I was going to college. But around 2003, 2004, that's when I started like really going for it. And like I used to drive to New York stand outside of record labels and hand out CDs like to A&Rs or assistants, whoever would take my CD. But that's how I got on.
That's the old
So
school.
yeah, so when I started meeting people, like, and imagine like the world has progressed so much in the last decade, but imagine like early 2000s, this Asian kid, kind of chubby from Canada, wants to sing urban R&B. Like I was an R&B guy, but I was like, I had a bit of like an identity thing where I was like, I had just come out of like college for music and I was into rock. So like I was dressed like Jimi Hendrix and I was singing R&B music. It was a weird clash of a whole bunch of tastes, but I was just, being expressive. But I went to like, I got to meet a lot of executives, meet a lot of people. And what I really got out of it was that they didn't know what box to put me in. They were like, he's Asian, or he sings like this. I used to get, you don't look like how you sound so much. And then there was this one guy who was like, I don't know what to do with you as an artist, but if you want to sell your songs, well, you could probably, get some other artists to do your songs, and then you can, get a publishing deal, make some money off of it, and then you can use that as a stepping stone towards your artist career. And, like, so like, let's fast forward. I finally get a manager who's like the same guy who I met at the record label in 2008, 2009. He was like, you should move. I was like, I need you to manage me. He was like, I can't manage you if you're in Canada, so you got to move to New York or New Jersey, where it was. So I lived in Jersey for a little bit, and I was working under this production team called the Trackmasters. And, I just grinded, man. Like I worked my way up in terms of like being like a presence in the house of writing songs and producing records. And then, yeah, man, I just like literally I wrote a song a day for like a year and a half. I didn't leave the house. I took a bedroom in there, and then like a year every day, like I just banged out song after song. If a bad song, good song, great song. And then practiced and practiced. And then like, I looked up one day and we were moving. Like we're like, okay, I became the guy at the house that was like, oh, he's this is where we're going to go. Right. And started running around writing with different producers. And then I just had my head down. I looked up and I was doing Justin Bieber, and I was in London doing One Direction. And I was in Miami with DJ Khaled. I was in studio in New York with Busta Rhymes, so after
Yeah.
I did the Justin Bieber records, LA Reid liked my music so much that when I met with him, he asked me to showcase. And then I was signed to Def Jam from about 2011 to like maybe late 2010 to 2013, and then I got dropped. Probably got dropped in 2012. They just didn't care to tell me.
No.
But yeah, and then so I've been writing songs ever since, and then
Man, I mean,
doing like the indie artist thing as well.
yeah, I mean, I can see like Boy Graduate's face every time you mention like these artists. It's like,
Yeah, right. And then you say LA Raid, I was like, nah, I'm out, bro. Like I'm done.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, man. Like, and I do have this to say, like, there is a certain like there's certain magic about the green artist, the artist that doesn't know anything, that's just happy to be there and wants to create. And that, I think that was the energy that I had back then, like that was my key to success. Because when I look back on the records and I look back at me, I was definitely not as well-rounded as an individual, as a musician, songwriter, producer, but I had like extreme confidence that my shit was fire, like, and that, I think that presence was echoing through me. And that's why people were like, oh, we got to do something with this kid, because I noticed the difference now that I'm a decade into the industry. There's a jadedness that will settle in, because for every W you get, there's 1,000 L's,
Yeah.
So there's
That's
that
amazing.
magic of that. But that's the part that you got to kind of recognize going into this, so that when you're getting into like the the next stage of your career, you're still, you're still hip to what's happening, and you're still like connected with that side of you that, that believed that everything was possible.
Yeah.
Like I was literally driving to New York in a Corolla, putting like burning CDs on my laptop, and going to just standing outside in the cold, handing out CDs. Like, this shit, there's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance that one of these guys is gonna actually listen to that CD. More often than not, they're gonna fling that shit in the garbage when they walk past you, and that's cool. Like, but I did that hundreds of times. Like, well, not hundreds, but I did that at least 100 times. Like, I stood out there.
Yeah, you took a lot of L's.
There's that, that's every day. Like, and then even till this day, like I make hundreds of songs a year, and
Yeah.
you see the listening public will catch 3 maybe of
Yeah.
the hundreds that I did. I mean, like, aside from my own stuff, but like actual songs that I've done for work, for pitch, like you're not hearing none of them songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
man. I
so
mean,
inspiring. So
yeah,
inspiring.
yeah, I mean, like, I guess a takeaway for this is always that, persistence and passion is actually like, I mean, and then plus hard work, because it
Yeah,
can't just be like passion, right?
for
But
sure.
basically, yeah, I mean, I know, in a way, I've seen a lot of different artists, in that case, even here in the Philippines.
Right.
And like, what is the reason why from that time you were doing the whole thing that you really wanted to have like a release, as because you already knew that you were an artist before, and then you started writing for others, and then what was the sort of like the turning point where, okay, I'm gonna release a song in 2015, because I know you had
Yeah.
versions. That was your first
So
thing, right?
I was just like, I've had like, I always have material, I always have songs, and then I have my favorites and the ones that are, that are kind of written in like, totally in my perspective, and I'm without the intent of giving it to somebody else. So I've always had those songs. Um, it was more of a timing thing, like, unfortunately I spend a lot of time writing for other artists, and that's kind of, not that I don't love it, I do love it, but it's a financial thing. I want to be comfortable in my, so I can not be hustling, so I can focus in on my own thing. So that's like the balance. I'm always like, oh yeah, this is a great song, I can keep this song, but oh, you know what, Chris Brown will make me some
Let
fucking
me
dough.
sell that real quick.
You know what I mean? That'll change your mind a lot. And
Yeah.
that's the sad but also fortunate reality that I have the opportunity to. I never look at it as it's bad. It's bad on an artistic level, maybe because some of these songs are very dear to me. But I make music for people to hear. And if there's a vehicle, if I can muster up the gusto to be like, yeah, take that. If there's a vehicle that can let millions of people hear that song and I'm gonna benefit from it, like, that's not a bad trade-off. That's not a bad trade-off. So I'm never sad about that. But yeah, I just want to sometimes be the voice behind my lyrics. And
Yeah,
when I
I
say
get that.
lyrics, I mean, I really do mean lyrics, because that it's weird. Like, as a songwriter, I know there's the melody is really key when you're writing pop songs. But for me, when I say pop, I also mean just popular songs in general. But
Yeah.
for me, like, the lyrics are what attach me to a record. So I'm really big on trying, like, when I have a good lyric, those are the ones I'm like, ooh, I really like this. So yeah, I just thought it was like, I actually thought it was overdue for me to put a record out, and I had the time, and technology had caught up so that I could do it myself. You know, I I wasn't it was a weird thing around the YouTube time. I started putting out YouTube like covers and videos around the same time that there was like an Asian explosion in YouTube. So I was a small part of it, and I could tell because a lot of people are still like, "Oh, I love this song from you from 2008 or 2009 or 2010." You know, my that was actually a management decision. They were like, you shouldn't be putting out records, because they were thinking with an old school mentality, like it has to be big and it has to be released, and you don't want this kind of like half pro stuff out there. You want to have like a certain look, as opposed to now, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the vibe right now.
Yeah, so it kind of just put me mentally behind, because I had that concept kind of drilled into my head. But again, my own fault, and I just I wanted to put out I've always wanted to be, that's the whole inspiration behind being a songwriter for me, was the opportunity to be the voice behind these songs. So that's why I did that first album.
Yeah, it was around 2016, right? Like, yeah, it was an album called The Fallout. Yeah.
So which was cool. That one got nominated for like a Juno here in Canada, which is
I read that.
I guess like, it's like Grammy, and like that was all on an independent level. Like I didn't have anybody like marketing, promoting. That was just me and like my manager, just kind of like putting it out and running around.
And there was a Tokyo version or a Japanese?
Yeah, so I did a independent licensing deal with a label there in Tokyo. It's actually a good friend of mine. I did two. That was my second one that I did there. I did one that was exclusively just Japan before that, right after my Def Jam deal. They picked up the album that I was going to release with Def Jam.
Oh wow.
Well,
So if you actually go so I got released, I got dropped, and the album had I had basically, because they didn't open up my budget for anything, I didn't have to pay for anything because I was writing and producing everything. And then at the time I was writing and producing with so many like really huge producers that I had a catalog. I had a catalog, which I still do, but I had a catalog with Boy Wonder. I had a catalog with the Stereotypes, the Runners, so between having all those songs that, and we had, by this time we had made money on these records already, the Justin Biebers and like, all that stuff was making money. So it wasn't a thing for me to go to them and be like, hey, can I use this beat for this Japanese release? I didn't have to pay for anything. So it was like, so they were just, the masters were mine. So I was able to do like, like a little licensing deal. They took a percentage, give me like a bit of an advance, and, they helped me promote my stuff in Japan. Like I did I did two like little radio runs in and around Tokyo, which is my, Japan is my favorite place in the world. Like I love the culture. I love the people.
Like actually go there.
Yeah, like that's number one on my list to go to, like after this pandemic. So yeah, so I did those, and I just got to a point where so now I'm at a point where I'm doing consistent releases, because I'm just building. I just want to build up my listenership. I feel like my reason for it is like, I like singing, and I want people to hear the songs from my perspective, and I think it can be with it if I put enough effort into it, the visual aspect of what's happening in the music, I can, be a real powerhouse creative behind as well. So it's all like an artistic thing. Like it's just for the art of it all, really.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like okay, weird. Is there like echo?
There's a bit of an echo.
Do I have an echo?
Yeah,
I think it's me.
End. Oh,
is it?
Wait.
Check.
Hold on.
Yeah, there is an echo.
Is that better?
Check. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I had my speakers on.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, I wanted to ask that, like, regarding being, doing a lot of songs with, back catalog and all that, and then you started doing it, being an artist. Because I saw that there was a label there named Summer
Child Records.
Is that like your label?
Yeah, so that's my record label / publishing company / like entertainment conglomerate. So like,
I mean, it's always great to know that, like, I think what your advantage is, actually, you early on you kind of knew the publishing side of things, and usually the artists usually don't know this in, starting out, like in any career, like, is it an advantage in a way for you, like, to know about that stuff? Because, like,
There, like everything, there's always an advantage of knowing like the where your money's coming from or where you can possibly make money from. I think not just for me but for everybody else, um w- w- we're so savvy to the idea of publishing now that there's pride that comes into it with artists. Like, most artists won't take a full song that they didn't write, whether it be good for them or not, because they want to be a part of that process, which is cool, which is, I have nothing against that. But if you're thinking of, like an artist like Whitney Houston, for example, who, or Michael Jackson, even, they're not that he didn't write songs, but a lot of the very big songs were, written with or came from huge songwriters, where
Yeah.
they're putting together, they're crafting songs. Not to
Yeah.
say, like, not all artists can't write, like most artists want to write, but I think there's definitely a need for, and not even just for me, not even for every artist, even for myself, sometimes a songwriter, when they're tapped into you, they can find a side of you that you can that you've never exposed, because you just don't see it. You don't see yourself the way other people see you,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
fair.
that's well explained. Like, and also, like, you, let's talk more about the I guess, like, how you work as a producer as well, later. But I wanted to point out this track, because we want to let our listeners kind of know the sound that you have.
Oh, yeah,
This
sure.
is actually, we'll move forward from 2016 going to 2018. This track is called "Trust Me." So we'll probably talk a bit more about this. Let's just play a clip first, so
Sweet.
that people watching right now, and we got to do some shout outs, man. There's a lot of, like, I see a lot of, like, engagement here. So this is "Trust Me." Of course, we're still here with August Rigo. This is "Behind This Beat."
You ain't gotta worry, trust me. You are the only one I wanna love me. Nobody can do me, girl, the way you does me. Oh, mama, no need for you to be jealous. I won't let that shit affect us, baby, now. Trust me. Yeah, I just like to have a good time, but I'm yours and you're mine. Trust me. Trust me.
Whoa!
That video,
Nice.
that was a fun video, right?
It's like getting hot in here, man. That video is just like
Funny. There's a scene in that video where I'm I'm in the bed with the three girls kind of all around me, and my now wife, she was my girlfriend back then, she walked in right at that scene, and I was like, hey.
Hey, this is what it is, baby. Take it or leave it.
I mean, she knew what it was, but it was just fun. It was just funny. Like, all the girls are like scattering, and I'm like, she doesn't care.
That's
yes.
awesome, bro.
Yeah.
So how did that song, like, like, maybe tell us a story about behind it, like maybe highlights of that song.
So I actually wrote that with these two other producers called Sound Mob from Houston. I met them when I was living in LA, probably around 2012. They're like now one of our closest friends, and they're just awesome music production duo. They do a bunch of, they do everything. They love, a lot of hip hop. Like, they've done Kanye, they've done, they did "Drank in My Cup" for Kirko. And they're good. And so it was actually just a catalog song. Like, I had written the song to shop it, and just one of those songs that nobody picked up. And then when I listened to it with fresh ears, probably, I don't know, a year after I wrote it, I was like, yo, this thing is fire. And so I hit them up and I was like, yo, maybe we should release this song. I'll put some money behind it, get a nice video done up. And so, yeah, that's really how that came about. I actually have a sick remix version that we never got to put out, with my boy Jimmy Cash, which I might just put out there. But it is one of my favorite songs, also because I'm also singing in a lower register. It's got a different vibe than a lot of the other stuff that I've put out. And it does lean a little more like to the darker urban side of things. And the video was fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Actually,
imagine.
yeah, actually, I kind of put that song on my playlist now. I actually love that track. Trust me.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to ask you also, like, is it like, like being, of course, now that you're a go-to producer from like, because you've done a lot of things, like, what do you find harder to do, being a producer, being an artist?
Um, I find it'll vary from case to case. Being an artist is always hard because you're always you're always trying to find that connection between who you feel you are and who the rest of the world looks at you as, right? That's like the biggest. And some artists just get it. Some artists are just like kind of tapped in because when you get behind the curtain of an artist, for example, it's almost like, there's two people there. There's always like two people.
Two
Um,
minds.
we're we're in a part of a time of the world now where we get to see a lot of behind the scenes of the artist thing, and it's weird because even that's curated now. Your
Yeah,
behind the scenes is curated. So
exactly.
and maybe I never thought of it, but maybe that's why we have a lot of like, really messed up artists now, like on a personal level, because there's so many eyes on you when you get that famous, everybody's phone, your phone, there's no time to just be natural and just be who you want to be. You have to be this person. So yeah, the artist side is cool. And then on a producer level, I think the most difficult part is um, connecting with the artist you're producing so that you're on the same wavelength, and then trusting. I think for an artist to have a producer, they have to trust that they're gonna be the right person, to the right liaison to portray that message. There's because you see artists that go from one producer and they're like, oh, it's okay, and then they do another project with another producer and it's like, oh shit. Because who's a good example? So Aaliyah, when she did her first album with Back and Forth and all the R. Kelly stuff, real New Jack Swing, 90s kind of thing. And that was great. It was a #1 album, big songs. And you think, oh, that's dope. That's probably the best it's gonna be. And then she gets together with a Timbaland and Missy, and they take it to a whole other place.
Yeah,
Into
yeah,
Timbaland and Missy took it to a place where here we are 20 years later from that, and that shit is still just as good, if not better, than any of the music that you're hearing now.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
if
I mean,
and that's like on a sonic level, on a songwriting level, on a musical level. So yeah, like and it's a symbiotic relationship. If you have a artist that you trust as well, as a producer, then you get that gel, you get that magic. I think it has to work both ways.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, you can
yeah,
always get a good producer to give you a song, and that'll be a hit song for somebody. But there's something special that happens when you put together like Justin Timberlake and the Neptunes, like the
Yeah.
oh yeah.
On a lower level, I feel that because I make music with like the guys I lived with in Melbourne, and they're producers as well.
yeah,
And those songs I release always end up being the ones that catch the most traction,
yeah. There's
just
a
because there's that collaboration.
right. The chemistry is there.
Yeah, people can subconsciously feel it. I think they're not thinking like, "Oh, why is this different?" It's just,
Yeah,
yeah, it's the vibe.
yeah. It's just a vibe.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
before
nice.
we actually move on, I just want to say do some shout outs because there's like a lot of like like people here giving love and all. So of course,
Oh, for real.
much of them are from the music industry here. So cool. I just want to say hi to Lexter the Virus of Magic 89.3 in Cagayan de Oro. You got Noah Lazarus saying hi, man.
Oh
Mad
no,
love.
what up, brother?
Ryan Armamento, who's now part of Warner. I mean, he's like doing the hip hop side of Warner.
Yeah.
Hi, and then Andy Griffin from Thailand, who's also in the music industry there. A lot of music guys,
Yeah.
actually.
Me and Noah go way back, man. We go way like. Actually, when I first, actually, I went to the Philippines. The last time I was there was 2007, and I hung out a lot with Noah. There, we actually, and I think we were on ASAP together, and
Yeah.
all types of stuff back then, man. It was crazy. Yeah, shout out to Noah, man.
Yeah. Also, hello, someone from Sydney, Maria Andalo. Hello, August from the Andalos in Sydney.
Yeah. Actually,
That's
that's where we heard. That's where we heard your name from, and
Yeah.
somebody else, another guest as well.
Yeah.
Young JV. Young JV.
Yeah, Young JV. Yeah.
Laura is funny because like I think she reached out to me or I don't know, but I was just going to Australia and I always try to like, she was dope. She already had some dope shit out and she was Filipino. So I was like, yo, we should meet at least, establish a relationship. And like her family took me out to eat and they're so cool, man. So shout out to them.
Shout out to them. They've taken me out to Sydney as well on some nice brekkies.
Yeah, they're fucking cool. And then like, I was telling Alex that I was when I was there in 2007, I was working with JV. The same time I met Noah, I was working with JV.
Yeah. JV had a lot of really great things to say about you, man. Like the professionalism and all that,
That's my boy, man. That's my boy.
Yeah. And he said he was in sort of in a love problem that time or something like that. I don't know.
And you brought it out for him. You hit the spot.
Yeah, no, that guy got a lot of love problems, man. That's
Hey, it's the problem of being a star, right?
Yeah, man. Boy, man.
Filipino artista.
Yeah. Anyways, so let's move on to another track from you. In 2019, you released this track called "Fall Apart," and let's talk more about this and probably a backstory, and then ask sort of a history of maybe ask about the culture of being Filipino in Canada, and things like that. So this is "Fall Apart" behind this beat with August Rigo.
Too far gone for this. Don't save me, baby. Stay too long for this. Girl, I know that I ain't right. Girl, I know that I ain't right. I've been waiting on you to tell me you're through. Baby, if I stay.
Man, I love that. I love
It's
that.
so weird. It's so weird to look at. Like, I'm very weird with my music where like I'll put it out and then never listen to it again. I spend so much time on it. And even videos, like I think I probably watched that video once or twice before, and then that's it. After like editing with like, shout out to my boy Lenny Lenz. He's like one of my creative brothers out here. He directed that for me. And then that's actually my best friend from high school that's painting. We're supposed
Oh,
Sick.
it's a really nice. It's a really cool video, man, with the whole dark tones and all that.
Yeah, I was just like, I wanted to make it like the song is a reflection of yourself as like it's a little bit self-deprecating, but you're telling a girl that you're no good for her. You've got issues and you should just get out, or you're getting out. So, I actually, I really love that song because it was just a personal one. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I want to make hits. It was just like, something personal that I was, feeling and, that I got to just lay out lyrically, put the music together.
Anyways, I gotta say hi to some more people because, by the way, we are live right now. So if you guys got any questions for August Rigo, like it's the first time you heard of him and you're just like amazed, and if you've actually known him for a while now, just give us you can do a comment and we'll read it in a bit. But yeah, I just want to say hi to some people. Of course, Andrea. Gars, Roland, Cabu, which is Billy Cabusas, which is a really great producer, beat guy in Australia as well.
Seeya.
Filipino, yeah. You should check him out, Cabu. And then Jesse, Shane, Zyril, Zunio of Dreamy Fire Records. They're an EDM group here in the Philippines. Just a lot of people watching. Janelle Aspiras, who's also congrats to him. He's part of the top 100 DJs in Asia, I think. Yeah, right now. So he's in a group right now called Sora Music Group, which is now also with Warner. So that's a lot of fun here. And yeah, so bringing oh yeah, Aliyah Gabriel said is saying, hey, can you do a shout out for me?
Hey, Leah,
Hey,
what's up?
shout
I
out.
heard your music. It sounded really good.
Yeah, so you should meet, man, because she's in Canada, So one of these days, 8 hours, right?
8 hours. Yeah, 8 hours away. But
Yeah.
that's why we got Zoom and FaceTime.
Okay, so I wanted to ask the I guess this is where the part where we actually talk about like you being part of like the heritage and all that, but how do you know much of the Philippines and how Filipino are you, like like is it
Yeah.
food that you connects you here,
I mean,
values and all that?
I was raised very Filipino, like very, respect your elders, manupo, like, the food and stuff is just a thing. Like the food, like that's all. I think in most Filipino households, the food is going to be the food. You know, I I like Filipino food. That's just what it is. I have a pretty
That's what it
tight,
is.
yeah, it's just what it is. I have a tight kind of knit Filipino, like very Filipino family here.
Do
Because
you
I'm
do you speak the language
yeah, I speak Tagalog.
Tagalog,
Yeah,
Bisaya?
I speak Tagalog.
Oh, Siggy, let's switch. No.
That's it. We doing tests. Yeah, it's weird. When I go to the Philippines, my brain switches.
Oh,
Hey,
nice.
boy, boy graduate here has just started to do Tagalog lessons.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Nobody's taught me how to speak Tagalog, but when I was 8, we had family come over here, and I just started speaking Tagalog. But my parents still speak to me in Filipino.
oh, and you reply in English?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the same as my
yeah,
girlfriend. She
yeah,
she has both Filipino parents here in
yeah,
Australia, and their household's so weird because it's like they'll talk to her in Tagalog, and I'm so intermediate in Tagalog, so I'm like, oh, I kind of understand what they
yeah,
say, but then she replies in English, and it's
yeah.
like, oh,
That's
what?
how. That's how I was raised. Yeah, same thing. It's just like they just speak Tagalog,
Nuts.
and yeah, I speak English back. Yeah,
Have you? Yeah.
No, we've like maintained a lot of like the Filipino heritage. I think also my grandmother was very like a big part of that. She's back in her day, she was part of like a lot of the origin organizations here that immigrated to Canada and Toronto. So
Mhm.
all the doctors and all the politicians and all the influential Filipinos, they were all part of this like early immigrated community here. And my grandmother was always like at the forefront of that, whether it be organizing it or being the house of entertainment. So a lot of people, and then a lot of my in my early years of like just being a kid, like I was the entertainment for all that stuff. You know,
Oh.
yeah, like the Knights of Columbus, the Daughters of Isabella, like all the like festivals here. Like we have the Nagkarlan festival here.
How,
That's like
how's the no? How's the Filipino community in your area? Is it like is there like a
it,
lot of things happening?
it's cool. I have a friend who's heavily like who's probably going to be the next generation of like Filipino cultural organizers in Canada. He's an author and an artist, but he's like an advocate for Filipino creatives and just the Filipino youth in general. Like there is like the older generation of that community, which is slowly kind of disbanding. People are getting old, you know so it's there, and there's a lot of camaraderie, and there's a lot of like really great creatives around. I think it's just it's it's going to take a little bit of time for it to mature into what our families did. Because when you've come here in the 70s, there's not a lot of Filipinos. There's just there's a handful of people that are kind of trickling in, and everybody starts to know each other. And now we're so integrated in the culture, like even in the music industry, there's Filipinos all over the place, sprinkled everywhere. It's a lot harder to make those connections, because it's not just about I'm Filipino, you're Filipino, we're friends. It's like Canada's such a multicultural place. One squad could have one Filipino guy, one Polish guy, one Jamaican dude, and then one white guy. Like
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not.
Sorry. My
Yes.
favorite meme, it's like every crew has their Filipino guy, and it's Drake's crew with Ovio
Yeah.
Nico. Is it? Yeah,
Yes.
he's Filipino, and he's like kind of chilling in the background.
I mean,
It's
like
like, damn, so
that's like
true.
a good model of the crew, like of a crew. Like, it's so multicultural here that it's you guys share the same. You guys are brought up in the same neighborhood, share the same. Love the same music. But yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely there. There's definitely
How
a community of Filipinos there.
how about the Filipino sort of global scene? What's your take on that? Do you know many artists that are coming out of the Philippines? Do you know many artists that are from different countries? Uh,
Um, I've like actively started just like, looking and trying to keep myself hip to what's happening in the Filipino world, because at first I was like, yeah, I'm Filipino. I should be involved in it. Right. But what I wasn't doing was involving myself. So I'm trying to figure out what's happening, who the artists are, what are, and then trying to formulate my own set of people that I want to work with and collab with, or that want to collaborate with me. But yeah, I'm not super familiar with a lot of the Filipino artists, but I do know a few. Like, I do know a few, and I do check
Yeah.
out their music.
Just for the listeners out there, I know that August Rigo here did some work with, aside from Young JV, you worked with Alex Bruce on
Yeah.
a song, right? So, is that your earliest project here,
Yeah,
or was it before?
no, that was I did that one. I guess we started working on that early to like middle of last year. So yeah, I was in Korea doing some K-pop, and I flew over to Hong Kong to meet with Sony over there. Shout out to Roslyn. And yeah, we just I just told her I want to do some music out there and figure out how I can incorporate what I do into the Filipino market. And this whole thing dawned on me when I was because I started, I've been doing records in China, I've been doing records in Japan, I've been doing records in Korea. And I was walking around Japan one day, and I was like, man, it's kind of crazy that I haven't done not anything really in the Philippines. Like
Yeah,
I'm so Filipino. Like, I love being Filipino. Like, I'm very proud of my heritage. Like, so like
Okay.
I'm always like in my brain I'm like, yeah, I'm a proud Filipino, but like I'm not doing any records with any Filipinos or nothing. I have no presence in the homeland. So like I was like, I'm not gonna be like, I don't want to just like push myself on it, but I do want to you know gradually make my presence felt.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
you've come to the right place, man.
Yeah,
This
so
is
that was my first kind of like, that was the first people I met that was in the that on a major label scale that wanted to work. So I was like, yo, let's get some records done. And
yeah. And
they showed
actually,
me Alex, and she was like, she had a great energy, and I was like, yo, I could do something with this. Let's try it.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, shout
that
out
was
to Vince.
that was.
Shout out to my homie Vince Nantes, who also did that record with me.
Yeah, I actually love that Alex Bruce track, "Go Crazy." Yeah, it actually was part of the chosen dozen for a couple weeks, man.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, let's talk more about your like the things that you do, like probably like stuff that we haven't really found out about you. But like, here's one thing that I just noticed in this particular track that I want to play. You actually are rapping here, because like
Oh,
some of those tracks that I have heard wasn't no like it was all singing and all that, right? But this I'm talking about the track that was released in 2020 called No Cap. So let's play this a bit and then just tell us what made you do this kind of angle, right? Okay, so you're still listening to us here on Behind This Beat with August Rigo. Here is No Cap.
He wouldn't affect you like he does. He would come and you wouldn't have to wonder. I'll be honest, if it ain't like that, then it ain't really what you wanted. I don't mean to take shots, but it's been a long night, so I took a couple shots and I'm feeling kinda spiteful. Talk got me hot, so I'm feeling insightful. Want what you got and you better not to fight for. So, here we go. Yeah, if he really wanted to be around, he'd be around you, seen? And if he honest, you never had to ask him about where.
Yay! There you go.
Sa iyong anak, that's
my anak. That's my daughter. Yeah.
Shout out.
She's not that small anymore, man. She's so big now, and I can't even put her in that anymore. She won't let me put her in that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell us about a bit about that track, No Cap.
So this was done like right early in the quarantine time when I started to like put out records, and honestly, it started off as a joke. Like I was just doing like stuff for Instagram and making like beats and like singing stuff. And I was like, oh, you know what? This is dope. This has a nice vibe. So when I was writing the song, and I love rap. Like I like rap. I like the language that you can play with when you're rapping. There's certain things that like it doesn't you can do it whatever you want, but it doesn't sound as good delivered like when you're trying to sing it. But when you're rapping, you can have like, you can play with a lot of cadences, you can play with the language a lot. So I was trying to find like, a way that I could just rap something on a record, and I was like, this'll work here. Like I always have like a little bit of that in a lot of the songs. Most of the time it comes into my in the K-pop, when I'm writing K-pop records, when they always call, like a lot of them would ask for like a rap cadence, that they can build the raps off of. So it's always been a guilty pleasure of mine to rap. So like, this seemed like a good balance of like, a nice soft R&B song, and I could just, spit some bars on it.
Yeah, lay some lines.
Yeah,
it's smooth, bro. It's smooth with it in that.
Yeah, just trying to, these records that I'm putting out now, for me, I felt like it's kind of like a soft resume of like the different things that I can do as a songwriter and as an artist, the different like places that I can take it. I actually have like have an album of records sitting right now that a lot of these records that you're playing are the records that I've done during this quarantine time. Just being able to release records on my own. So I'm trying to build up a little bit of a listenership so that when I get to my album, I can have a little more juice behind it.
Nice. Was the video shot in quarantine as well? That's why.
Yeah. So the video was shot in quarantine, like when we couldn't really go out, like everything was closed, just grocery stores. And I had this idea of doing it like a karaoke video, like with the lyrics and stuff. And it, admittedly being very Filipino about it, I wanted it to be like kind of fun.
Yeah.
And like, just nothing serious, I'm just a little visual for the song. So like I was like, let's go with this.
All right. Like, you know what? I just wanted to do. We have this thing in our show where we do like our segment called First Wave, and we want to do that. But before we actually do that, we want to play another clip right now because I just love this track. Contact is such a jam for me. Like it's just it's one of those R&B stuff that I really love. Like. It's just right there. Like, I can't explain it in a way, but I just love it, So let's check this out and maybe talk about this, and let's do our first wave game after this. So this is Contact right here on Behind This Beat.
Why don't you move a little, close the distance? Won't you ease up just a little on your resistance? I know you're fighting just to keep your guard, working hard to break them walls down. Come now, why you so far, girl? I need you to come back. Why talk, I need you to.
Hey.
There you
Seriously.
go. I was dancing with the. I was just like,
I was just trying, like with that, I was trying to do, like I was taking a little bit of like an Afrobeat influence, a little like island kind of influence into the
yeah,
production of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's like one of the songs where I was producing a beat. I was like just making something, and then halfway through, I was like, oh, I got the idea for the song, and like it's one of those songs that I kind of made at this. Like I was simultaneously writing and producing at the same time. So yeah, I'm happy you
And,
like
and
that.
yeah, and how is that for you, by the way? Before we actually do the game, like
Yeah.
being a producer, like I'm sure because you have the catalog now, it's like a lot. Like, is there like a specific, or is it like mood based? Is it like relevancy of the year when you make those things, or like how do you choose the type of sound you're going for? Is it
Yeah,
like for
I don't
yourself
know.
and for the artist?
Like when I'm doing my own stuff, sometimes there's a reference. Most times I'm kind of just playing around with the piano or guitar, or like trying to find a sound that resonates with me.
Mm.
More deeper than the sound. A lot of the times, I don't know. Can you hear this? Can you hear that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the times I'm like trying to find like a nice round of chords that'll inspire the
Mm.
right melodies. Like
What you rocking there? The Rhodes?
this is a Korg SV1.
Oh,
I
sexy
like it.
bit of
Yeah, so
equipment.
you can get good like you can get like a really nice drive sound.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, let's go. Let's make a
Let's
beat right
go.
now, Alex. You got 16 bars?
Like I'm always I'm always playing like this. Oh, you can't hear this. This Moog is like my
Ooh, the
my
Moog.
There you go.
like those
God
are
damn,
like I like playing around with the instruments. I've got like another set, like another kind of thing of keyboards here, like
Oh my
cool.
gosh.
this guy's Mike Dean, the
Yeah,
Filipino
like
Mike Dean, bro.
I'm always playing with stuff, and like I have a lot of like other like kind of otherworldly things that I'm working on, like just for fun, like just for the experimentation, like artistry of it. And then there's stuff I do with the intent of it being a pop song. Um, and
Is there like a signature you do maybe in production or being an artist, or it's just like whatever comes to
yeah, I don't know if I'm always I'm always thinking like, the signature part of like whatever I'm doing is, the is kind of the package of it, my vocal and my lyrics and the way I write, as opposed to having a specific like sonic thing. Yeah, I just really want to write classics. I'm trying to write classic songs, and sometimes they are and sometimes they're not. It's like, not every day is a great day for songwriting, but when you hit it, when you get it though, like it's getting one is the best part about like finding a song that hits to you, and then when it goes out you get that kind of mirrored response. That's when you kind of reach your plane, like, oh shit, I feel it. And then you kind of have that, now you have that feeling, right? So now there's a point of reference, okay.
Yeah.
Like people who have a lot of hits, they've got a fucking great point of reference. I don't have a lot of hits. I have some successful songs, but I don't have like big hits. But you can tell like the guys that have a lot of hits, they 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 manage to get that point of reference right. Like, oh, this is making me feel like this. Because hits are different. There's different types of hits. So if you have a lot of different songs in your catalog, you can kind of gauge that feeling like, ooh, that made me feel like that. Like the one song for me that made me feel like that was is Back to Sleep by Chris Brown. Like that was when that song got released, that song was already 2 years old. Like nobody wanted to hear that song for me, but when I did it, I felt, damn, this shit is so good. And then it was discouraging because nobody wanted to cut the record. I was shopping the record. It was really discouraging. And then one day I was with my wife in the car, and it came on my iPod, and she was like, "You should send that to Chris Brown." And I was like, "I'm pretty sure I sent it to Chris a bunch of times already." They were like, she was like, "Let's just send it again," and I sent it, and yeah, the rest
Crazy.
is
If you
history.
ever need help getting Chris Brown some songs, bro, I can help you out. Like I'm also homies with Chris Brown. Nah, bro, I'm capping. I'm capping, bro. I'm capping.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
I mean, you just wanna meet him, man.
I just want to be in the circle, bro. Like,
He's fucking sick, and he's super nice, man, super
Uh,
nice.
yeah, yeah. So let's do the game first. I wanted to ask you another question later, but to follow up that the thing you just talked about. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's do the first wave game. So explain this, Cam, what we do.
yeah, the first wave game. It's just pretty much me and Alex throwing a bunch of first questions at you. So like the first time you jumped on a plane or something, we can't
Yeah.
use that one. But what usually happens is that me and Alex go take turns, and you can answer them as honestly as you want or as creatively as you want, and you
Yeah.
can also pass. I mean, there's not so many personal ones in here, but there might
Right.
be a few that you just don't want to answer, so that's all good as well.
Let's
And
go.
Alex,
All
you
right.
want to go first?
Yeah, I want to go first. Uh, what was the first song you made and what year?
You mean like first written song, like for?
Written song. Yeah.
Oh man, it was probably like 19 fully recorded. Oh man, 97. It was a song I did with my singing group called "Tell Me What You Want."
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thanks. Okay. Your turn, boy. Graduate.
Uh, your first TV appearance, if you've had one.
First
you
time
know
I was
what?
on TV in the Philippines was in 2007. I guess I did that thing, and then 2012 actually, 2011 2012 I actually was on TV quite a bit because I was the vocal, not a lot, but I was the vocal coach on America's Got Talent, so I had like a little bit of TV time
Oh,
there. Yeah, and then I had like a nice little interview section on like television in Canada, so that was really my first time on TV.
Okay.
good answer.
Your first music icon crush.
Oh. Ooh. It's so weird. Probably Christina Milian. Not even, that's the one that I can remember. Like I'm sure I've liked, like I loved Mariah Carey, but like I remember I at the time I was such a big fan of Christina Milian that my friend, when she came here to do like a radio station thing, like she gave me like a signed CD, and I had like a poster on my wall. Weird.
Wow.
Okay.
And fast forward like 15 years later, I'm like, her I guess her friend slash manager asked me to have lunch or drinks with her and talk about some music down when she was shooting a movie here downtown. So it was like a weird, like,
Damn, full circle.
fate moment. I think I told her, I was like, yo, I used to have your poster on my wall. I just want to get that out the way.
What's the first app you check when you wake up in the morning?
Instagram,
Yeah.
probably. Sometimes
Common.
Twitter. Sometimes
Yeah.
Twitter. Yeah, if I'm feeling like in a newsworthy mood, I like Twitter. I don't interact too much on Twitter. I just like reading the feeds.
Okay,
Okay.
first concert you've ever experienced. First concert you've experienced pala.
Janet Jackson.
What year?
Rhythm Nation. 1987, maybe? Crazy, but I
Wow.
saw, my uncle had an extra ticket, and I might have been 8. I don't know. I'm not sure of the years, but yeah, my uncle took me, and I was just like, at the time, you're not thinking like you're not thinking that it's gonna be like this thing, but like I was like, well, now when I think back on it, I was like, oh, I was there.
Yeah, man. Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation, huge.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
That's crazy, man. The first time you ever got drunk, I always do that one.
Yeah. So actually, my Bisaya best friend, we went to his house and we got first we had like 2 Mike's Hard Lemonade each, like whatever, right? But we were like 16, 17 years old. Um, and then his family had like 2 or 3 boxes of tanduay, like
Oh,
the little
wow.
like airplane joints. And I remember we went through 24 little bottles between the 4 of us, and that was it.
That was it. That was the first time.
First time, yeah.
Wow, tanduay, yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, that's,
Hardcore, man. That's hardcore.
we were
You know?
fucking killing that drink though. We were like, we just,
This is
trying to be, we were trying to be cool in front of each other. That memory is ingrained in my head. You know, it was years ago, but we were like, I remember first we were like, but after a while we were just like,
smashing it.
oh yeah, it was fucking
Okay.
bad. It was a bad night.
All right, last 2 questions.
Yeah.
You do it, boy graduate, then I'll do the last one.
Okay, Siggy. You threw me out here because I was gonna do it. The first time you were on a plane.
Oh, first time I was on a plane. I mean, it's not really interesting. I was like probably like 6 or 7 years old the first time I was on a plane.
Yeah.
Something more interesting is the first time I was
On a boat?
I was drunk and I had to get on a plane.
Oh yeah.
Which was crazy. I was like, when I used to go to London a lot, and I was working with this group called JLS, and at the time they were like the One Direction, so, or at least that level there. And so they took me to club. You know, we drank the whole time I was there, but they took me out the night before I had to leave in the morning, and I was so like I was smammered. Like, yeah, I was done. Like, it was so bad. My manager had to get security to open my hotel room door. He had to throw me in the shower and then put me in the car. And every step of the way I passed out. I passed out in the cab, and then I passed out at breakfast. Like when I was eating in the airport, I went to the gate. I passed out at the gate. I passed out at the gate. And luckily that at Heathrow, the gate, your waiting area is specific to your gate in whatever terminal I was at anyways. So I was like, and the stewardess woke me up. She's like, are you on this flight? And I was like, oh shit. And then I don't remember the flight. I don't remember. They were so nice to me that they didn't even make me lift my seat up. I landed in Toronto. I was fully horizontal, like sleeping. So I was like, I guess 7 hours. Oh,
Yeah, that's the worst.
yeah.
Similar story to me in February, flying back from Cebu to here in Australia. I went out with my mates the night before, and it was like, oh, just one drink to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 5 a.m, and my flight was at 8. And I had a driver, and I slept for an hour, and he woke me up, and I was in the van, passed out. I was at the checkout, passing out, standing up, like trying. Yeah. Oh, is my mom on this, bro? Like, she cannot hear this stuff. But
yeah, shout out to your mom. Actually, your dad is here. Papa Graduate is actually on here again.
He's cool. He doesn't snitch. He's also
yeah.
He's good.
But yeah, last question for the first wave game. What was your first job?
My first job, McDonald's.
Hey, Macca's crew.
Yeah, it was at Macca's. Yeah,
McDo, really cool.
Yeah, my dad. So like, my dad used to be a superintendent for the housing. He and one of his tenants, her son was he's Filipino, was the manager at McDonald's.
Yeah,
his name is Willie. I remember, and he was like, "Yeah, you can have a job. Let's come to work." So I just showed up and did all the McDonald's stuff, and yeah, it was cool. I mean, that was my first job. I've had millions of jobs, not millions, but I've had more than most people.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again for that, August. It was fun doing the first wave. It's always one of those things that we do here. It's always letting us know more about the artist. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, your mom is. Your dad said your mom is shaking her head.
Okay. Damn. I
Okay.
dug myself a hole there. I'm not coming back to the Philippines anytime soon, Alex.
So, anyways, okay, so we're gonna play another track from you, and then after that, we're gonna do our Instagram, which we now call Behind This Pic. Three
Yes.
posts so that they'll know about your Instagram account. But right now, let's play something from August Rigo. This is Kids, and let's talk a bit about this right here on Behind This Beat.
You're saying that we're way too grown, but we ain't never way too grown to be on one like this. So could we just be kids? Play till someone gets hurt. Could we just be kids? Mess around till it works, or it don't. Let's act like we don't know better. Let's act like we
Hey.
All right, yeah, there you go. So,
So that little
yeah.
guy that you see in the video, that's my little cousin. So
Hey.
his mom is my mom's youngest sister. So my mom's youngest sister is like my best friend. He's growing up exactly like me, which is funny. Like, it's funny to see, obviously things are a little bit different, but he's growing up in the very similar environment, like only child. We're all teaching him the same things that they taught me. But he's always around adults, because he doesn't have any siblings, and and especially right now, like, we can't even see the rest of the family. So he's growing up like me, and it's really cool to see, just to see like almost like a mirror image of myself back when I was a kid, interacting with the same people that I interacted with growing up.
And he's nailing the syncing as well.
Oh,
Right?
he's tight, bro. Like, the kid is he's so smart. Like, and he's a little shyer than I was. He's not like I was the on command kid, like, yo, you want to perform now, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready. He's a little more reserved than I am, but he's a lot smarter than I was. But again, we're living in the same thing, so that's like, he's like my best buddy in the whole world. And he was hyped to do the video. He was hyped. He was telling his friends he's gonna be in his cousin's music video.
It's really
That song, I just wanted to, like, the years keep going, man. Like, that's the one thing that doesn't stop, time. So I'm always trying to make sure I'm connected with the person that I used to be, and then progressing, but always because when you're a kid, the purest time of your life is when you're a kid. You don't know anything. You have no preconceived notions about politics or racism or music, in life. It's just possibilities, and I think that's as you get older, I think that's the part of yourself as an adult that you forget. So it's I wanted to write a song like, just like, yo, could we just be kids? And like with everything, I think maybe this is a signature of mine. Like, I try to romanticize every situation, whether it be something more serious or more jokey, just have a romantic twist on it. So this one is like,
I wouldn't have taken that explanation just from the snippet.
Yeah, because this song is really like, yo, could we just be kids and mess around?
Try to work it out.
Yeah, and that's like, that's the main message, but the subcontext behind it is like, it's nice to just not worry about anything. Like, just be kids, even if it's for a minute.
Yeah, and it's a great like song to listen to now in this challenging times as well, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's anything that'll inspire and uplift, I think is it's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do our behind this pic. Man, it's been an hour already, so we just have to do this as quick as we can because I know it's already late there, man. Thank you for actually doing this with us.
I mean, we're here, man. We might as well milk the time.
All right. Cool. So we have this thing called behind this pic where we look at your Instagram post, and then this is also the time where we sort of like inform everyone what your Instagram account is. So this is your Instagram is at
Hey guys, I have a question. Can I smoke on the show?
Yeah.
What?
Can I have a cigarette on the show? That's okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be here though. But go ahead. Let's do it.
Okay, so the Instagram account is Augmatic.
Yep.
So you check it out at Augmatic. So let's do this. I just want to share screen first. Okay. So I think my kid just woke up.
I can hear.
Okay.
How old?
Yeah. 4.5.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah,
I just please explain what this is. This is way back, I think.
Yeah. This is when I sang for the president. I sang for the president of the Philippines here at this event.
Oh my God! Who was the president at this time?
The girl, what's her name?
Cory Aquino. Cory Aquino.
No. After that,
Gloria Macapagal. Right.
Gloria. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I just dropped the barong on them and just gave it to them. Gave them the full look. And I was trying. I think this was probably like 2009. I don't know. Yeah, 2001. I was I don't know, I was trying to grow my hair and I just ended up looking like fucking Tito Boy.
You kind of look like me there, bro.
That's hilarious. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, guapo, birth guapo, bro.
Yeah, that's a Filipino newspaper we have here called Balita, and then they
Oh, in Canada?
yeah.
Oh, nice.
So like yeah.
Okay. All right. The next one is I just this to where was that? I was looking at that like this one. What is this all about? Why?
So actually, this is from my wife and I. We had these amazing photographers here do our wedding, and it's such a cool vibe. They wanted to use us for their rebranding. So like this was like a photo shoot for the wedding, the photo company, and yeah, you're just trying to find content. My friend showed me this site that removes the background for you and just like gives you the PNGs. I was just like, yeah, here we go. Yeah, and it was, just just a little something.
All right, cool. The next one would be I saw this one a while ago. Let's talk about I really like the fact that you have that sweater.
So I like vintage shopping. Like it's one of the things I miss. I love like picking through old clothes and finding gems. I've done like the curated vintage when I'm looking for something, and like I have to really love something for me to spend money. Like I have a Jodeci. If you look at the R&B crying music video, I'm wearing a Jodeci t-shirt. Like that t-shirt is retired now after that video. It's from 1995. I found it at this vintage store, and I think I spent like $200 on it. But normally I like going to like vintage, like real vintage stores and like looking for finds. I found this at a vintage store in LA. I don't know, for like $10 or something like that. The sweater. And so every year I just put it in a box after Christmas, and then every year I pull it out again and wear it.
Awesome. All right.
That Santa Claus there, that's been in my house for like 10 years.
Damn.
Yeah. In that note, by the way, we also gotta promote that you have a Christmas. Is this an EP? It looks. It's just 2 songs, right?
2 songs. So like the idea, I call it a Christmas classics, a prelude, because I want to release Christmas songs every year. And this year, I put these 2 on, and then every year I'm just gonna stack on a couple of more Christmas songs and like make a volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. So next year I probably will do a volume 1, put these 2 songs on there, and then add like 3 or 4 more songs. That's why it's called a prelude.
All right, cool. So make sure to check that out. Of course, that was behind this pic. Okay, so thank you. You just have to check that out on at Augmatic, AUGAMATIC.
You guys want to hear a fucking hilarious story? Why my Instagram is Augmatic?
Go. Go. There you go.
It's a little bit embarrassing, but it's fun. I think it's funny, so I tell people about it. I was working with Demi Lovato at the time. I think I created like this thing, and she had this thing called the Lovatics, which is her fan base. And you're trying to find like ways. So like I was calling my fans Augmatics. What a loser, but. And then I guess Instagram came around that time, and I was like, "Oh, that's a sick name, Augmatic." So I thought about changing it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it because it's kind of like a bit of a pun, anyway. So
Yeah, that's cool though. Yeah, I mean,
it was like two things because like we used to have like I used to live in this house. I used to have this house in Jersey, and we would always use Matic in the sentence. So like we'd be like, "Yo, John Matic, what's up? Yo, E Matic, what up?" Or like Just Matic, Augmatic, what up? So like it kind of was all happening at the same time, so it worked out that way.
cool. It's a lot of. I know. I mean, yeah. Now it's documented, so everyone would know now.
Everyone knows.
Okay, so again, thank you for like doing that with us. Of course, it's always been. I mean, it's a pleasure because we're already down an hour and a half. But we really love talking to you because there's just a lot of things that we need. Like I guess now that we're sort of connected in a way through this show, it just I can really project now what things can what the future holds with us connecting now because
For sure.
someone like you is a very an essential, I guess, piece of the formula for like what we believe that what we're pushing here in Beat This, where it's like the Filipino global connection. And with that said, I wanted to ask you what do you think is Filipino global?
So I want like I don't know if I have a specific ideology to kind of attach to it right now, but I do see like Filipino global music as having like a heaps of potential. I think there's on a performance level, culturally we're kind of built for that stuff. We've always had some of the best dancers and some of the best DJs, and we've always had that, and singers, like we always have great voices. But I think what we don't have is like a sense of identity for the thing as a whole, and that trickles down to a sense of identity for the artist.
Yeah, I agree.
We're
Yeah.
my take is that we're amazing at like doing what others do. That's why we have
Mm.
amazing karaoke singers. We have all these singers that are amazing on American Idol and America's Got Talent. But the identity of the artist, I think um, we fall short on. And I don't think that's an effort wise, because I think now you can see there's a lot of growth in the Filipino market. I do think it's just a matter of time. If you think about it as like, let's think about the music industry like immigration, right?
Mhm.
We are in the first generation of kids and young adults and adults that are foreign, that have been able to do this for a living. I have I put a lot of work into this, but I have to thank my family for putting me in a position that I can do this, because my dad and my mom, if my dad wanted to be a singer or a songwriter, no way he could have done that. He didn't have just the physical means. They were worried about first coming to a brand new country and learning a language, and then secondly finding a home and a job to provide for a new family in a new country,
Yeah, just
you
setting
know
up.
without a support system. So, and this is the same thing in the music industry. We are the first generation of Filipinos that are in the music industry, that are in a world, not a domestic industry, but a very international scene. So we are now fighting our way through to get to the point where to get the know-how to create the vision for ourselves artistically.
Yeah,
So,
that's a really
so,
good point, man.
so like,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't like. I never think of it as like, oh, it's shit. Look at, and then look at when you see a country like Korea, who's now like at the forefront of international music, not just international music, but music in general. You look at all
yeah,
those year-end Billboard charts. It's at least 50% Korean, 90% BTS. You know,
yeah.
and
Shout out
that's
BTS.
and there was a constant effort into creating that. I was going to Korea in 2013. It was not the industry that it is now, you know.
Yeah. Do you
uh
think Korea is like a good sort of template to base off what
yeah,
Filipinos can do?
I think it's a great template. And but the key with what happened in Korea is they had an identity, like K-pop had a thing. K-pop, when I got there was a specific kind of K-pop sound that they were building and that they had established, and that was very successful in the home, in like domestically, like fan bases. And they were and it was and that sound was not proprietary, but that was kind of mastered by them, and they were kind of
Mhm.
it was starting to bleed out into different countries. Like, it was trying to bleed out into Mexico when I was there in 2013. They were doing big tours in Mexico, and it was already big. Like, I was going to the studio in Korea and seeing fans from the Philippines yelling at me, like, oh, like waiting outside of the studios for us. Um, so yeah, and I think that's, it's just a natural evolution of the music and of the people. So like I said, like if you look at it as immigration, this is the first generation, and to be honest, we're not doing that bad, man. There's a lot of a lot of presence, whether you know it or not. There's a lot of Filipino presence in the music industry now. So um Filipino
Wow.
global music, like if I was to there's potential there, and I want to be a part of that. I am a part of that potential because I'm
You
inherently
are, man.
I'm
Yeah.
Filipino. So I
Mhm.
want to be a part of that legacy, and hopefully be at the when people look back on the stuff, they'll be like, yo, that guy August was a big part of Filipinos moving into the next thing. So
For sure.
hopefully I can be that.
Yeah. Oh man, you already are. 100%.
I mean, we're going we're
Yeah.
like we're working out here. It's like it's a funny thing with the music industry when you get into this writing, and like you find some success. When I first started, I just wanted to get an album cut, and then you
Mhm.
want to get a single, and then you
Yeah.
want a number one, then you want your own shit, and then you want your label. Like there's always like different, there's always
Next
oh
steps.
yeah, there's always next steps. So it's hard to sit in the stuff that you've done. But yeah, we've done some great stuff over the last few years, and we're just trying to continue. Or I'm just trying to continue to write good songs, man. At the end of the day, um, we all have our superpowers, and I feel like my superpower is my ability to write a song. So I'm just trying to, exploit that as much as possible.
Nice, man.
Well said, man. Well said. Again, man, it's such an amazing man. I wish we could just like talk, further. But yeah, I'm sure we're gonna be talking off cam, in the future, and also a lot of things gonna happen. But yeah, thank you for being here, man. Thank you for the time.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. Anytime I can,
Oh,
talk to some cool peeps,
definitely.
connect with something from the homeland. It's always a great opportunity for me to kind of spread my world and spread my wings. And then I'm trying to make a name for myself. So this is these shows like this are great.
Yeah,
All
shout
right.
out.
So I just wanted to inform everyone, all the listeners out there, that of course, the tracks that he had, like the catalog of August Rigo, is out there. So you got to listen to it. He's got a lot, aside from the fact that he does music for others. He's going to be releasing more for sure. Now you have to check out the Christmas uh, two tracks that he has online. But the last, we're gonna end the show with the last single you had, which is "Represent," which I really actually, it actually went to the Chosen Dozen for a while, couple of weeks there. Such a good. I don't know if you see our tags yet. We before we actually met, we tagged you every
Yeah,
time.
I'm pretty
We
sure I
featured
shared
that
that
stuff.
playlist. I
Yeah,
shared that
yeah, yeah.
playlist on my
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, we see we so thanks again, because from it always amazes me and Boy Graduate when we sort of like highlight this like Filipino artists that we don't yet know, and then we tag them, and one day now we're talking. It's such
Yeah.
a great honor for us as well, because we're not only that we're part of the industry. I guess it's also we're music fans first, so that really helps. I just want to say shout out to Tony Fonzie, who was our guest last week. He goes, "Yo, legend."
What's going on, man?
Yeah, Fonzie's actually also from Cebu, and now he's in Canada, and he's working he's in the music production. He's like doing some school. I forgot what the name of the school was, but yeah, I know he's in that thing there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, anything you want to promote before we actually go?
Let's just shout out to my home team, like my label, Summer Child Records. Brian Puspos, my other Filipino artist, he just put out a new record with Sound Mob, the same guys that produced Trust Me. So you should go check that out. It's called Easy.
Nice.
And then if you guys like, just straight up to the point, like real R&B stuff, you should check my wife's stuff, Jeanette Claudette. She's like the GOAT, man. She's like the best singer I know. She's got all the makings of a superstar. And I just if you guys want to check her stuff out, she just put out a new EP called Inside. And then a new song we actually I'm just editing the video right now. So we do everything right now. We usually have a team, but we do everything in-house here now. So so the new song is called December.
Yeah, let's have that. Send me the links, man.
Yeah. And then check out all my stuff. I got more music coming out all the time. And
social media, how do they find you? Website?
You can go to augustrigomusic.com, and that'll lead you to like a page of like all the releases. And then most of the time I'm on Instagram. I'm really bad. Like I'm trying to be better with like the promoting of the social media and doing all that stuff. But most of my activity is on Instagram. So you can see me, Augmatic, AUGAMATIC. And man.
We're gonna put that in the write up as well on beatthisph.com.
Yeah.
So you can check that out.
And stay with me. I got a lot of fans that have been like with me for a long time, and they're seeing the progression. I think it's really cool to see like how people react to it. So if you're just catching on to me now, check it out, because there's going to be like, there's a kind of a next stage in music that I've been working on. So I don't know if you guys know, there's this guy, his name is Ricky Tilo. He's one of my best friends out here, but he's like probably one of the best guitarists ever. No cap for real. He's actually Lady Gaga's guitarist.
Lady Gaga's guitarist. Face when people just drop those kind of names.
He has the potential. Yeah,
he's Filipino guy as well from the same area that I grew up in, and he's amazing, and like he's like one of my like creative brethren. Like we just kind of connect on that level. So we have a project. We have a band called the Egos, which we kind of do like a meld of like R&B / classic rock. It sounds weird, but it kind of works.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's like psychedelic. It's a little bit psychedelic. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of inspiration from like Frank Ocean to the Eagles. Like it's cool. Like he's very like he's a rock guy. Like he can play everything, but he's a rock guy. Like he's really like heavily influenced by classic rock. So that stuff is pretty cool. I'm actually trying to figure out like a little bit of a release plan for it right now. But that music is exciting to me because we go into it not making. It's one of those types of projects like you go into it without there's no commercial aspect of what we're trying to do. Like it's just like, let's just write some music and see how it comes out. And it has like a cool little sonic to it, man. Like I'm always on the other end trying to make sure lyrically and this on the craftsman side, like the songwriting is right. And I think it'll be a cool little thing.
Sounds
All right.
promising, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exciting, you know. So just hang on there a bit, August Rigo. We'll just end the show, and yeah. So again, thank you very much, and yeah, just want to say, you know, I hope this is not the last interview. We can have more in the future, and yeah, thank you again, August Rigo, for giving your time, man. So.
Thank you for
Um,
having me. I appreciate it.
all right, bye bye, man. Like we're just gonna close the show, and hope to talk to you in a bit.
All right, man.
Hey, so my God, that was such a an amazing episode, man. We just learned, like, not even learned, we just like, you know, you notice like our eyes are just like googling every time there's like people that we know is being talked about, you know, like, and plus the fact that you know, we really, this has already gotten to a point where we're interviewing people or Filipino creatives in the next level right now. You know, so it's been 16 episodes already, and this is just one for the books, man.
Exactly, man. Very inspiring from August Rigo there. From all the accolades and credentials that he's got. I mean, it's a real testament to his talent and what he's got going on. And yeah, like you said, we need to get him back on the show in like a year time and just like figure out where he's at that point, because he's going to be releasing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, of course. Thanks again to everyone who's watching. This has been like a lot. This was one of the, like, I guess a lot of comments and likes for, you know, for this show. I was kind of amazed, you know, and of course I just want to tell everyone to go to our socials at Beat This PH for more information on what we do. We're here to really promote you know, like Filipino future music, Filipino global music. And yeah, next week or Friday, that's going to be on December 11. We're going to be having our guest from Manila this time, Peaceful Gemini, man. Like, she's one of those great, dopest MCs out there, man. Right? Amazing.
You need,
yes.
Like right now, you need to check her out before the interview, because this is going to be crazy.
You got to check out Peaceful Gemini from Manila. She's like one of, I guess, you know, one of the best right now. She's actually part of the Spotify Kalya Rap campaign now. So check her out. Also on December 18, it's going to be, we're going to be having Angel, ANJL, of course, from Las Vegas, Filipina, our friend Angel. So she's going to be dropping an EP. So we're going to talk about that. And then on the 25th and the January 1, there will be no Behind This Beat because it is the holidays. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you again to all our listeners and viewers. Of course, this has been Boy Graduate. This has been, did I just say Boy Graduate? This has been Boy Graduate and you're Phat Boy Lim. All right. Okay, so I can mix that up. So I don't know what happened. You know. Yeah, so this has been Phat Boy Lim.
And Boy Graduate. Salamat po. Ingat.
Salamat, and thank you for listening and watching Behind This Beat. We're gonna end this. We're gonna end this show with a track from. Sorry, man. Okay, let's do this. This is Represent, of course, by August Rigo. Right here on Behind This Beat.
All that's facts. I need you on me. I just gotta taste it. I don't know if I can take it, baby. I want more than